Guys, welcome back to the channel. Early morning. I'll be heading out to Fork tomorrow. Got a wild game dinner with my church tonight, raising money for charities, for a charity we do, where we take underprivileged children or terminally ill children. We try to raise money to take them on the hunts of lifetimes, just to take their mind off of things for a few more minutes, or just a few minutes of the kind of tough life they've got going on. Great cause, and that's awesome. I'm going to donate a on the water class to one of the to one of the raffle type deals, which would be really, really awesome. So, but one of the things I've been wanting to talk about is I've been thinking about it because I read a lot of the comments about the forward-facing sonar and the MLF and things like that. I listen to people gripe about the coverage was bad, or there was no coverage. People tired of looking at this, that, and another. And it's 50-50, it seems to me. What I'm seeing is that what you have here is the people that say, "Oh, I don't want to watch the back of his neck." But if I feel like if they were given 8 hours of them blindly casting, they would start griping about that. And then if it was an all shallow water tournament, that would be fun. Those are fun, man. Frog fishing, flipping on mats and beds. But then we became a deal where, there were 25 people flipping one mat. I mean, it happened all the time on Toho and all those places. So, in my opinion, Bass and MLF are victims of their own success. And I've said this before, in the older shows, it was 45 minutes where they stretched 4 days into 45 minutes. Took 4 days, cramped them into 45 minutes, and made these awesome shows. I've referenced before, for example, Kevin Van Dam's last win on Bass. I mean, there was a couple of days he had 5 bites, caught 5 fish on Toledo Bend. If that was live, and I don't think it was live back then, I can't remember, but I don't think it was live, or it was in the infancy of live. There was maybe 4 hours of coverage or something like that. I don't care who it is. That would be absolutely atrocious to watch. Crazy thing is, during that tournament, if you watch it, he was staring at his screen 95% of the time. What was the difference? He was staring at his screen for waypoints, so that's okay. I often have discussions on on the pages with people when they say something. I'll have discussion as to what do you feel would be better? Well, people stop looking at their screens. When he would look up, he's looking into the ball, just open water. I mean, what's the difference in looking at open face water or looking at a screen, whether it's stay on your waypoints or forward face sonar? Well, we've had these arguments so many times. It's the same arguments you go with. Some people just don't like it, and I've often said this. I say, why are you upset that more people are offshore when you're a shallow water fisherman? You ought to be happier. I mean, because I can remember, 15 years ago when I fished tournaments and stuff around Louisiana, you would fish waters that, and this is crazy, you'd fish waters and go down the bank, and you would try to take note of where one guy started, and when you got there, you would either go to a different area or try to jump down the river, kind of think ahead, and then you got 30 people in a tournament all fishing the bank, and now that's not true. You got people spread out more. The bank is kind of an area that doesn't get fished as much as it used to. So, in my opinion, you would think if you're a bank fisherman, you would be more happy about that, but maybe not. But we've talked about these subjects over and over. But one of the things we have not talked about is maybe how do we combat it, and how do they make better television? And I believe I've come up with a pretty good idea. because they see the guys looking at the screen and they don't know what they're looking at. And that irritates them. It irritates them because, before, and I will say this, before Kevin Van Dam's out there fishing in open water, he's telling you what he's fishing. I'm fishing a saddle here. It's a hard spot on top of this. Or there's a little saddle and they're right on that corner. And there's a creek channel. So it kind of, you started to try to immerse yourself in it. You got into it. Now, they're not really telling you because they're so tuned into fishing. They're not even doing much talking. They're really tuned into their fishing. And they're really tuned into trying to get as many bites as possible, or really dial in to watch it, see what the fish is doing. So the viewer, I guess they feel left out. They feel like they're not part of it. So my thought is that live is great when there's action. But I'll watch it a little bit here and watch it a little bit there, and I love bass fishing as much as anybody. But I also know that 8 hours is absolutely boringly atrocious to watch. It's just not. It's not fun to me. I guess some people can watch it for 8 hours, and if they're slamming them, it's fun. But even the best live ever was the 22 minutes on Fork. But it was also surrounded by 7 hours of nothing. When the bite died, it was over. But it was 22 minutes of awesomeness. But there was also 7 hours and 38 minutes of nothing. So it's hard to. Fish ain't gonna bite for 8 hours a day. You're gonna run into lulls where there's a fish here, a fish there. So that is a big problem, is trying to fill in those gaps. So what I think they should do is take, and this is hard. It's hard to do. Is put it, show day one as a day two produced show on the internet. Show day two is on day three. Day three on day four, have a little bit of secrecy in it. A little bit of, keep some of the drama in it. And what they should do on these shows is, for example, try to take the highlights, take the best parts of it, break, as they do on the shows, do a lot more of the underwaters. But instead of doing the underwaters where they make it, where they create it, get out there in these spots, or very similar spots, show the side imaging, show the down imaging, and create a story as to what they're looking at, and do some overlays, where when they're actually fishing and throwing a cast, do some 3D overlays with the side imaging. Now, is that hard? I would imagine that is a profusely hard type deal to do. I hope that's the right word. That is a very hard thing to do, to be able to do some 3D overlays of what they're casting and turn the show as much as a tournament into more of a learning atmosphere at the same time. Maybe shorten the show down to a couple hours each day, highlighting it, showing, take Davey Hyde out there, who's one of the best bass fishermen ever. Get him out there with his side imaging. Get him out there with his Livescope or Humminbird or whatever he does. Show how they do it. Show what they're seeing. And use it as a way of how each pro broke it down. Get those interviews after the deal. This is how I broke it down. This is what I'm looking for. This is how I'm going to go about doing it. And create a 2-hour show. Edit this into a 2-hour show that airs the very next day. So day one, of course, on day two on day three, and day three aired on day four, and then on day four you can show the weigh-ins, or you can do the weigh-ins every day anyway. But on day four they would have some drama, and then on either later that night or the next day, show the championship day, edit it out, and it would highlight the information, highlight how they use their live scopes and side imaging and contour maps, what they're looking for. Break this down into more of an educational piece as opposed to sitting there showing people fishing for 8 hours. And then that may in itself may show may make the people and the viewers a little bit more happy. You might if people don't like to see it as much, edit out just a little bit of the people looking at the screens, those type of deals. You can probably work in some of the GoPro footage, so some of the guys on there, and just create, something that a little bit of everything for everyone. You're never going to make everyone happy, but this could be a way to make, more folks happy and more folks enjoy the show and condense it down a little bit more fish catching action. So, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing a lot. I'm very thankful for everything you do. And once again, ring the bell.